Hello and welcome to Jamie TV, streaming 100% live on YouTube. Welcome to another Cubasis 3 live stream. Thank you very much for joining me. It saves me talking to myself. Let me just move this mouse over here. That's the computer mouse, and I really need to not accidentally touch it, because if I do, I could really screw up the stream. Okay, so this evening, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at Cubasis 3's mini sampler. It comes in for much criticism. It is one of the features of Cubasis 3 that could do with a bit of improving, a bit of an update, maybe replacing with a more comprehensive sampler, or maybe they should keep the mini sampler as it is and maybe even make an in-app purchase for a superior sampler for, because maybe not everybody needs a sampler that's more involved than the mini sampler that Cubasis 3 already has. And that's kind of where we're going to start a bit later on. That's where we're going to start, but later on, when we have a look at the mini sampler, we're going to have a look at just what it can do, and you may find that what it does is sufficient for your needs. And I think that because it comes in for some stick, I want to show people what it can do, because people might not even take it seriously or try it out for the reason that, for that reason, because it does come in for some stick, because some people are used to using more involved samplers. And then when we've taken a look at it, we're going to have a look at Koala as an alternative to use inside of Cubasis 3, obviously for iOS users. Now, I'm not going to be taking a look at everything that Koala does. We're just going to have a look at the basics about, how you might use it to, say, record a synth, basic editing of a sample, build a drum kit, and share stuff, that kind of thing, right? We'll get to that in a bit. But first, I have a question to answer. So, and this is what these streams are all about. Let me just turn my mic down a bit. It seems to be clipping. Okay, this is what these streams are all about. Really, they are designed to help you guys. So questions are very, very welcome. Let me just put my glasses on. I've reached that age. I can see everything except stuff that's right there. It's not easy putting glasses on with headphones. I'm not used to this. Okay. Can you do a quick segment on your next Cubasis workshop on MIDI recording, then overlaying new keys on a loop after stopping, and then restarting to record again? Like drums, for example, laying down a kick, snare, stopping, then recording again, and only adding hi-hats. For some reason, on my Cubasis, this is the first original keys I laid down. For some reason on Cubasis, the first original keys, I'm reading it wrong with my glasses, laid down disappear. But they keep playing anyways, even if they don't display as MIDI notes and only show the new ones. Not sure if it's a bug or I'm doing something wrong on Cubasis for iPad. Okay, I know exactly what it is that's happening here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, let's go to this view. Oh, I need to take my glasses off because now everything else is blurred. The text here, great. Everything else, whoa. Right. Let's hope that's the last time I need my glasses today. Hey Sam, try and stay awake, dude. All right, now, where was I? Yes, I'm going to set up this thing. Right, so I'm going to come over here. I've got some drums in the shape of blip box, and I'm just going to set up like a 2-bar loop here, and I'll just make sure no tracks are armed except for blip box. Should be using my mouse. Where's that? There we go. Okay, now I have my Sonido tempo key plugged into my hub, so I should get some drums from these pads here. Let's just find a couple that don't suck. That's sort of kickish. That could be a hat, I guess. That could be kind of a bit of a pissy pants snare, I suppose. We'll use them. Right. Okay. So what I will do here, I've got loop on. I'm going to bring my playhead to here, and then I'm going to press record, and I'm going to play in some kicks. Let's just put some kicks in first, and then when it loops round, I'm going to put some snares on, and then we'll stop it. Yes, that's what we'll do. Use the mouse, hippie. Right, okay, made a complete arse of that, so let's just erase that. Right, okay, let's do kicks first, then snares. You know what? I know I made an arse of it now, because I didn't have the metronome on. What a stupid hippie. Right, let's go again. Okay, let's stop that. Okay, so as you will see, what's happened is it's recorded in my extremely out of time kicks and snares. Let's say if I was so disgruntled with myself that I played so badly out of time, instead of continuing this loop and putting the hi-hats down, right, I stopped recording, came out of here, and I went in because I wanted to quantize everything. So let's do that. Let's just select everything, and then I can, let's see, everything's a 8th note, I suppose, and let's, okay, then I just don't have to listen to my dreadful playing. Okay, right, so now because I've pressed stop, when I go into put the hi-hats in, let's do an offbeat hat. It's impossible to be unhappy with an offbeat hat. Right, let's do the hats and you'll see what happens here. Right, so at the moment as it's recording, you can see the hats I've just put in. You can see the kicks and the snares. When I stop recording, now you can only see the hats, but you can hear all the drums I've put in. If I double click to go in to edit this MIDI, all we're going to see here is the hats, but obviously the kick and the snare are there. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about what's happening. Cubasis 3 is not really designed for loop recording. It's not designed for putting layer after layer after layer. There's no folder. It just doesn't do that. Now, obviously, it could do that. It's not far off being capable of that, and it is a common feature request to add some more. Hey, Semtex, thanks for being here. Chicago Trimmer, thanks for joining us. Yeah, you know, it's one of the popular feature requests, you know, this loop recording thing, more functionality. Let's make it work. We can sort of see how it could work. So Steinberg, let's please make that happen, is the general feeling. There is a way to get your hi-hats into the same chunk of MIDI as the kick and snare. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Now, if I grab the handle of the chunk of MIDI here that has the hats in and drag it to this side, you'll see there the kick and snare are underneath. And now that I've tapped on it, it's on top, right? Okay, so they both exist in the same space-time continuum. How do we get them together? Well, it's kind of a bit of a. It's kind of a bit of a workaround, really. If we're honest, let's just select both bits of Midi and then glue them together. Now when I go in, you can see that it's all there. But if I come out and undo that, right now, I'm going to take off snap to bar. I'm going to drag this all the way over here till it's almost at the beginning of this bar. Then we're going to select both. And now we'll glue them together. And now it's all there. So, in answer to your query, you're not doing anything wrong. You've not misunderstood it, and it's not really a bug either. It's just that Cubasis 3 is not really designed to record in the looping kind of fashion that you might have imagined, the way that you may have looped in other pieces of software. But as we can see, it's kind of almost there. It could do it, right? So no wonder it's a popular feature request for the Steinberg team to get working on more advanced looping options. So, what were we saying? The Chicago Timer says, I'm not a looper, but I have been interested in Loopy Pro. Are you still a fan or use Loopy, Jamie? No, actually no. When Loopy Pro first appeared, I thought it looked absolutely fascinating, and the developer asked for people to come forward to sort of beta it, and but he only wanted so many. I offered. He'd already got enough, and so since then I've looked at videos of people using it, and I kind of think it's not actually really for me. I've tried looping live because I don't do so many anymore, but I used to do a lot of solo acoustic gigs, and a few friends of mine that do similar sorts of gigs use loopers, and they put down rhythm and sing over the top, and then play a layer over the top of that while they're singing the part, and then they loop that round, and then they're putting a bass part down while they're singing, and build up these tracks live, and it looked really impressive. And I thought, well, I could do that. I'll get a looper, and I was absolutely utterly terrible at it, and I just decided to sack it off and just go out raw with just guitar, vocal, and just do songs, and I did a far better show when I got rid of all that technology. I think Loopy Pro, from what I've seen of it, is absolutely stunning. It's just not the way that I like to work, if I'm completely honest about it. Right then, so I think that completely answers your question. If there's anything else, if I've missed any aspects, throw it in the chat and I'll come back to it. Okay, so I'm going to delete this off. Let's get rid of this. There's no need to show both, just select them and glue. That's right, Sam. That's absolutely true. But when you're demonstrating stuff, it's nice to be able to see it, I think. Right. Okay. So let's have a look at Cubasis 3's mini sampler. I apologize, by the way, for the change in broadcast time this evening. Last night, when I should have been streaming, I had to have a rehearsal for the gigs I'm doing in Tokyo soon, so couldn't be helped. Right then, so here's what we'll do. first off, down here at the bottom, I'm going to add another track. So we go to MIDI track, we select on the instrument into this left-hand browser here, and then we go down and we grab MIDI sampler. Now, the first thing that I have to do is choose an instrument or choose to make a new instrument. So until I actually choose something, this is still the default acoustic piano sound. So I'm going to go into factory presets, and you'll see here that there are some drum kits. Let's just select a drum kit, and then I'm going to just unarm that track there, and we'll arm this, and then I'll just go an octave down here on this keyboard. Okay. Right, that seems a bit loud. Better pull that down on the fader there. I'm going to damage anybody's ears. Okay. Right. So, as you can see here, we've got some kits to choose from. And some of them actually are quite nice, they're quite usable. Down at the bottom, we've got some keyboards. This one's quite nice, I feel. And so on, right? But that's not really what we're particularly interested in today. So basically they are... Hey Matthias, thanks for being here, man. Hi Semtex. Yeah, it is Semtex. It's about getting the timing right. And you know, I don't seem to have that ability. I'm okay. You know, my timing's great when I'm playing an instrument. I've got quite natural timing, but yeah, with a looper, I think it must be my feet. There must be something wrong with my feet. It's got to be that. What controller is that? This is a controller called the Sonido Tempo Key K25, which I made a demo of. So go and check out the demo. I also made demos of Sonido's drum pad, and I've just released one of their Z1 tempo pad, which, where is it? Looks like this. Okay. Now, yes, so what we're looking at here is we're looking at preloaded, like a preloaded sample pack, basically. If we go to edit on these, you cannot change them. You can change attack and release on them, I believe. But that's not really much cop, to be honest, on an instrument like this. Okay, so what we're going to do... Oh, and down here, we've got some sample pipe presets that I've loaded in. These ones actually came from... Oh, let me just do this. If I go to my desktop, and then we come out of my Stream software and onto the next tab up here at the top, I got ready Mobile Music Pro's website. Now, Vortex is not doing Mobile Music Pro at the moment. He's not making any YouTube videos anymore, and he's working on other things. But if I go here to his sample pack thing, which doesn't seem to be working, which is not extremely... Let me just reload this page. Right, sample packs. There we go. There's a load of sample packs, and some of them are free, and there we are, look. There's a free one there, down here, look. And some are pay for. They're not very expensive, and they are actually very, very good, and I made some of them. Well worth getting hold of some of the free ones to see what you think to them, and if you're impressed, please go and buy a pay for one. Now, in these packs, the great thing about them is that what Vortex did was he got all the samples together and then he made presets for various different iOS apps. So like if there's a bunch of drum samples, then he's got a preset ready for using them in Digisticks, for using them in Koala, and so on and so on. And there are some Cubasis 3 mini sampler presets, and that's what these are down here. Oh, I'm using the wrong mouse. Disasters will happen. Right, okay. So let's go here. Just gonna, there we go, back to my streaming software. Okay, so that's what these are down here. Let's just grab Pop Kit, right? Oh, go down an octave. Let me just adjust this camera up here. That's better. Vortex is on an away mission. He's missing in action. I do keep in touch with him every now and again. I'll just send him a message and make sure he's doing okay. He's all right. He's okay. He's just not doing. Doing YouTube anymore. Whether he'll come back, I don't know. I can't answer that. Anyway, so basically we've got a whole bunch of stuff in here loaded into the mini sampler, and these ones you can go in and edit, but we're not going to, because we're going to approach this a different way. Now, probably best with this view here, I think. Okay. I should also mention actually Doug Woods at the Soundtestroom, on his Patreon account there's a folder, much like I have one too on my Patreon account, where he's got loads of samples and presets for different apps and software and stuff. And he's also got some Cubasis 3 mini sampler presets in there. If you are a patron of Doug's and you didn't know that, go and check them out. There's some really, really good ones. And I actually intended to download some for this stream, but I didn't quite have time to do it. And it's well worth being a patron of the Soundtestroom. Okay. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to press on this again. I shouldn't have unpressed it. Backspace here. Right, we're going to go to New Instrument. And we're going to call it FX Kit. That's what we'll call it, because I could do with one. Right, okay, FX Kit. Now, we'll go into Edit. Now, if you have a look here, you will see different options. We can record in a live instrument here, or we can import samples here. So, now one of the things about this that I'm not massively keen on is that from here, we can't get to like iOS folders, and we can't get to Dropbox, etc., etc. Hey Audible, thanks for being here. Hi, Third Person Productions. Sorry, didn't see you sneak in. We can't like get to Dropbox or anything from here, and you cannot do this. You cannot like go to your file thing and have a layover screen like this and grab a sample and drop it in. It will not let you do that, which is a shame, I think. Anyway, so from here we navigate to one of the folders in Cubasis. So actually, if I go to Media, in Cubasis, if you go to Audio here, you've got folders for drum loops, audio files, and samples. So we can navigate to those. So if you want some, if you want to use some samples that you've got in the cloud somewhere, you're going to need to download them first and shift them into your Cubasis 3 audio files. I do think that Cubasis 3's filing system, as it were, whilst it was pretty cool and pretty clever when Cubasis 3 first came out, now I think really we expect a bit more from it. So I'm going to go into this folder here, Cyber Effects from Massive X. So in Massive X on my desktop, I made some effects that I used in one of my cyber metal tracks. So I've just downloaded that folder and dragged it into my audio folder in Cubasis 3. What I do here now is I decide what key I want to drop one of these samples onto. Right? Grab one. We'll drop it onto that key there. Okay. Right, let's grab another one. I want that one on that key. And let's just carry on in that fashion. And we'll build this little kit. Hang on, I'm going to do. I've already lost my place. It was very imaginatively named when I titled that one Thing. Right, we'll just grab all these, put them in here. I think I've done one twice. I've done one twice. Okay, idiot. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll keep it and we'll amend it so that it's a different sample. And the one at the top, I've already got an idea for. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to put that here. I want that one twice. Okay, now, the reason I want this one twice, now that we've imported these, we'll just go to Edit, right? So now, you can see my sample there. Press on the next one, you'll see it's displayed above. I've got some really cool sounds in here. Right, now, this one I downloaded twice. Let's use this as an example. So we have some very basic tools here that we can use to edit these samples. I'll edit that one. So let's see, what can we do with it? I virtually never ever use normalize on anything. I'm not really sure why people do, because all sounds in synths and samples and everything are always too loud for a mix. You know, I'm always gain staging stuff to bring it back down in volume. Maybe wise not to normalize it in the first place. Let's see what this one sounds like if we reverse it. Hey Jade, thanks for joining us. Alright, that sounds pretty cool. Similar but different. Okay, and so, you know, it's justified its existence now. Okay, now this one, the reason I wanted this one the same as this one is because I think this would sound really awesome. Right, because it's kind of an impact with this descending sound afterwards. I think that would sound really good as a riser, so I'm going to reverse it. But the problem with that is now I've got this space at the beginning. So if I play this sound now, it's going to take a while to kick in. So I'll bring this left marker here and let's trim it down. Well, that was really, really awesome, except for that at the end, there's this silly noise. Now, what I can actually do while I'm doing this, I can actually get the playhead and put it here and just play from there. Hear that stupid noise at the end? What's that? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll zoom in on this and we'll put a little fade at the end. See if that's done it. Oh, wrong play button, you stupid hippie. Oh, and I'm still hearing a little bit of it. I'll undo that. And we'll just... Oh. Let's put my left marker all the way back over there, of course. Of course it has. Right, we'll just make that fade a bit longer. Let's play from there. Use the right play button. Oh, I can still hear it a bit. Well, okay. Undo. Maybe I should just trim a bit off the end, actually. We'll try the fade one more time. Play from there. Oh. I'm going to trim a bit off the end. Yeah. Just bring that... See, at the end there, there's this sort of glitchy bit there. Right, we'll trim that. Right, what's that sound like? Oh, wrong play button again. Right, okay. I think we've got rid of the stupid noise, but now we've got a click. I'm going to try and fade that out. And play. There. There. I finally did it. Thank you for having the patience to wait while I asked about with that. Bit of pissy panting about involved, but you know, we got there. I love stupid noises, aka my music. Stupid noises are the best noises, especially fart sounds. Does that app still exist that is purely fart sounds? I remember someone making a video on it. Was it Patrick who made a video on an app about fart sounds? I think it was. Does anybody remember? Okay, right. So I've got an effects kit. Now the thing about this is there's not a lot you can do with the editing. What else can you do that I haven't shown you? The select button, I'm going to be honest, that's virtually useless. Well, I'll show you, right? It gives you kind of this like selecting marquee, but I can't really get it to do anything. So don't bother pressing that. It's a waste of your time. Obviously, you've got an erase. We've got the trim. We've had a look at that. We've had a look at reverse. There's normalize. I don't use normalize. I've already talked about that. We've got a fade in as well as out. Now here, this is interesting and this is really helpful. What you can do, you can click on to media and then you can name this particular sample now that you've changed it, and you can send that straight to your audio files so that you can use it again in future. That's cool. That is helpful. Right, so I've put these sounds on these keys from C2 to C3. Oh, I know what I haven't shown you. Right, we can loop. Let's find a suitable sound. This one might be fun. Yeah, that one could be fun. Right, let's do a loop. So I switch on loop sample just there, and then I've got some new handles to play with. Let's move them in here. Press play. Now that's pretty cool, isn't it? I wonder if it might be better if it was just a bit further out. No, maybe just a little bit longer. Alright, play from the beginning. What? Maybe I'll play it from here. Right, that's pretty cool. Right, so it's got a loop, and basically we can move these. I don't know what to call them really. Sort of funky little triangle things, I want to call them. We can move these to adjust the sample thus. Right, I'll bring them right out so you can hear what I'm talking about. Right, a bit more knee jerk like that. I liked it better before. Right, so there's my effects kit. Other thing that we can change is we can change the gain of a sample. That one was a bit quiet actually, so let's just turn up the gain on it. Now what I have noticed on this is, yeah, that's quite nice. Was it AV3? I can't remember. I don't think it was. Yeah, what was I saying? Right, the sample gain. What I've noticed is, if you press the sample, then move the gain, you don't hear any change until you stop playing it and play it again. That's a minor irritation, I think, but an irritation nevertheless. Okay, so I'm going to come out of here now, and then I'm going to show you what happens. So this is important to bear in mind. We've already named this kit, and I don't need to go and save it. It's already there. It's basically, it's done. But what I can do from just here, it's highlighted at the moment. Down here, I can rename it if I decided, because sometimes when I start making a kit, I don't know what it's going to be like. I have no idea where I'm going with it, so I don't know what to call it at that point, so I'll just call it Turd or something. And then, when I've made a great kit and I feel a bit ashamed of myself, being all, immature and calling it Turd, I can go and rename it something sensible, like Twat or something. And from here, if I've made a complete arse of it, I can just delete it, or I can in fact share it. And I think what I will do is I will share it to my Dropbox, because you see, if you are on my Patreon account, and a couple of people who are here today will know this, on my Patreon account, I have all kinds of loops and samples and presets and all kinds of things that you can download for knob all. You would navigate to this folder here, and in free samples and MIDI and loops, we'll put it in there. And we'll put it in the Cybermetal folder, and I'll upload it there. Right? So if you fancy joining my Patreon account, you can go and grab that kit for nothing. Right, okay, so that's importing samples to make a kit. But what we can do, are you guys, honestly, here's me towing my bollocks off to show you this mini sampler, and you're talking about fart orchestras. That's why I love you. Okay, so now we've made an effects kit. What we're going to do now is we're going to record a synth. So let's just look at the practicalities of this. Here I have a MIDI track, and it is routed to, I've got MIDI through on, so that means I can play an external synth with this keyboard. You can see this tempo key is listed there as the incoming controller, and it's going out of the MIDI on my iRig Pro Duo on channel 2. So if I arm this, right, we're sending MIDI out to MIDI channel 2. Now on MIDI channel 2, I was just going to very, fluidly there just go to the shot that I needed to continue that sentence with, and the bastard thing's crashed. There we are. Right, okay. This thing crashes constantly. OBS Blade, which is what I have on one of my old iPads, so that I can switch between screens for the stream. Bastard. Okay, anyway, right, so my Uno synth is just back here. There. And now, if I arm the track here in Cubasis, there we are, we can hear the Uno synth. Let's just unarm the effects track. And you can see a little note lighting up on the Uno synth. Magic. Let's go up an octave. That's better. Okay. Right. So now we've got some audio coming into Cubasis 3. Let's go back to this view here. So if I go now to, what am I doing? Let's add another instance of Mini Sampler. New instrument. We're going to call it Turd, because I don't really know how this is going to turn out, to be honest. Turd. Okay. And we'll go to edit. Now, I want to record this time. So I'm going to arm the monitoring. Now that's interesting. What we're hearing here, you see that level there? That's actually my TX7, which is plugged into the other input on the iRig Pro Duo, and it kind of hisses, right? It's because it's very old. Not as old as me, but it's pretty old. About 1985, I think. Right, so now actually, no, I'm wrong. That's on input 2. You'll hear the hiss in a bit. Right, okay. I do know what I'm on about, I promise. Okay, so input number 1. I should have plugged them in the other way around, because TX7's on MIDI channel 1. So I should have plugged it into audio input number 1. Whereas the Uno synth is on MIDI channel 2, and that's plugged into number 1. Oh, that's so confusing. What a stupid hippie. Anyway, so I'm going to choose a key, right? I'm going to record it right there, and then I'm going to press record, and I'm going to play a note. It is time for a stream deck, Jade. You are correct, but as we established earlier, I need a microphone. So, all right, so there's my note that I recorded, right? That was pretty easy, weren't it? And if I play there it is. I can switch the monitoring off for now because I've recorded the note I needed. Now, obviously, it needs trimming down, so let's move this handle in here, zoom in, make sure it's nice and close to the beginning. Come on, you know you want to. Don't you know who I am? There we are. And move this one over here. There we go. And I'm going to press trim. Don't matter if I fucked it up, because I can press undo if I have. Right, let's press play. And I am not hearing that. Why am I not hearing that? Is that because no. No. press that? That's weird. When should you remind me of the ad? When I've got my head around this, why this is not working, I suppose. Oh no, no. Now I've accidentally pressed play and I've got some hanging MIDI. MIDI panic. Okay. Well, I'll never run out of examples, chances to show you that, do I? Okay, I'm going to edit, and now, where's my note? Okay, now I think when I press play, I should be hearing that note. That's very odd. Run the ad and suss it out. Oh, now that'd be cheating. I'd like totally be cheating, man. Okay. Now, let's just check something out here. If I go, I'll unarm that so that I can't play the Uno synth. And then, yeah, I can't play the Uno synth. Go back to edit. Right. Ah, all right, take that off. Right, okay. Let's just shut down Cubasis 3, just in case it's a bit of a glitch. Just gonna get rid of that and get rid of that and reopen it. Could be just a bit of a glitch. Who knows? Okay. Edit that one. Into edit. Yes. No, I'm not hearing it. That's distressing me. Okay. Fine. Be like that. I wonder. I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna I've obviously screwed something up. I'm just gonna repeat the process. I'm just going to we'll go in here and we'll just get rid of that. No instruments on that track. Okay. Add a MIDI track down here. Go into this. And new instrument, which I'm going to call Turd again. Now, I'm going to need, let's set it up from here first. Okay, I'm going to edit, and we're going into record, and it's mono input number 1, and I've got monitoring on. Now, I need to have that armed so that I can play the note. And that on so that we can hear the synth, right? Actually, maybe I don't need that on. Go back to here, editing, and right, okay, I don't need that on. Right, let's just record that. I think that's all correct. I know what I did there. I didn't actually tell it what key I was recording onto. Oh, hang on. Oh. Or maybe I did. It's the wrong one, but never mind, because I can move that. I can move it by going like this. Oh, maybe I can't. You can when it's a drum sample. Oh, well, never mind. We'll stick with this. Okay, right, so play that. Right, that's a bit quiet. So let's go to edit. We'll turn up the sample gain and we'll chop this down. Right, I'm going to press trim. Let's turn it up. Okay, that's better. Take that back to the beginning. Alright, see you later, Soundtestroom. Take care, man. Needs a little fade at the end. It's a little bit, got a bit of a click at the end there. Just play the ending, make sure it's alright. That's better. Okay, right. So now I've recorded the synth onto one key. And if I play another key, I've got no ball. Now what I can do, if I wanted to record every note from the synth, one by one, I could do that. You've seen how I did it with the effects, so you can drop different things onto different keys. If I wanted to record one octave of this synth, and then on the next octave have a different synth, or if like on the lower octave I wanted to put some timpanis or, you know, effects sounds, whatever, you can put a mixture of whatever on as many different samples on as many different keys as you want. But here's a easy solution to creating a synth, right? We spread that note over an octave. So we've kind of just created ourselves a little synth. Now, what I could do here is maybe every 3 or 4 notes record it in again, because it does somewhat deteriorate by the time you get a bit higher. But that's normal for samplers, I believe. Not an expert on samplers, but I believe that's kind of the way of things. So now if I come out of here, my third synth is already saved, just like it was with the effects kit that we made. And I don't need that to be armed. I can just arm this, and now I can play that sound, beautiful as it is, with my controller. What's happened to that camera up there? I think the bracket needs tightening up. Okay, so I can play that. You know, I think you're right, Sam. I think it was a bug, because I can't see that I did anything any different whatsoever. Okay, now we'll go back to this view here. Before I move on to the next bit, I need to create a MIDI part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a synth, then I'm going to record it in Koala. But first of all, I'm going to need some MIDI, which ultimately, this is the MIDI that is going to play the synth sound that I'm going to create. I made that far too hard to say. Right, up here I've got this nice new set of chords that I came up with this morning that I'm very happy with. I really like that. Now, if we have a look at the chords, you'll see that the first 3 chords have got a descending top line, and then the next 3 chords have got a descending bass line. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to chuck this down here, which is ultimately where I want to have my new synth sound. Then I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to delete these notes from down here. And then we'll delete these ones. Okay, now you see I've got this lovely descending line all the way through, which I think is probably an octave higher. I'm guessing at this point, but I think it's probably an octave higher than I'm going to want it to be. So I'll bring that down there. Okay, we don't need that yet, but we're going to need it later. Now, I'm going to run an ad because after 13 or 14 live streams, I finally remembered that if I'm ever going to make any money whatsoever out of YouTube, I do have to remember to run ads. So I'm going to run the ad now, and I've lost a camera, so I'm going to run the ad now, and then I'm going to try and fix this camera. Let me know when you've seen an ad and you're back. Let me know in the chat that you're back. I'm just going to have a bit of an arse around with this camera, see what's going on. It's very hot. That could potentially be part of the problem. But I think it's just gone to sleep. Maybe it went to sleep because it was hot. I don't know. It is very, very hot in here. We're having one of those very, very few warm days that we get in the UK. Usually have about 2 or 3 a year. And it's extremely hot in the studio with all this soundproofing and no air conditioning. Okay. Is anyone back from the ad yet? I have no idea how long these things take because I have YouTube Prime, so I don't see them. I'm going to move that over there before I have a disaster. On my Patreon account at the moment, I am every Friday still making music at lunchtime. We just chat and drink coffee, and I make some music, and people ask me questions, and we have a great time. It's a really fun little session, which Mateus is always present at, and we have a really good laugh, and I make music, and eventually, I finish that music and it gets released, and it feels like the patrons kind of contributed to that, kind of took part in it, which is a really, really nice feeling. Okay, nobody's telling me that they're back from the ad yet. Have you got like the longest ad in the world or something? I don't want to continue and lose people. Or maybe it was a really fascinating ad and everyone's clicked on the link and gone to purchase something from Temu or something. Okay. Right, looks like we're back. Okay. Great. So, the next thing is, we're going to take a look at an alternate sampler. In order to do that, what I'm going to do is, before we take a look at Koala, I'm going to make a cool synth sound. So here you will see I have got my Uno synth and my TX7 coming into my iRig Pro Duo. So if I arm both of those and play a key, now wait a moment, I'm playing that there. There we go. Right, so at the moment we're only hearing the Uno synth because this MIDI out is routed to MIDI channel 2 and the TX7 is on MIDI channel 1. So if I put them both on 1, we will hear nothing. We'll arm that. Right, so I've got a sound coming from my TX7 now. I don't like it. Let's just change that. Yeah, that one could work. I like that one. Right, I'll just unarm the TX7 for a moment. We need to change the MIDI channel on the Uno synth. We'll just drop that down to MIDI channel 1. Now when I play my keyboard, there we go. We've got the Uno synth coming in. So let's arm both. Right, they could be interesting, but I feel like we need something that's going to help them blend together a bit more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send both of them to a group track. So, let's see now. Under the TX7 here, I've got to add and group. And we want to send the Uno synth and the TX7 to the group track. The group track should be green because synths are green. And now if we go to the mixer, there's my group track. They've both come in there. Now that we've got them on the group track, what we'll do is we'll go to Insert Effects, and I'm going to add speakers, because in speakers it does this great. I'm going to switch off both of these speaker emulations, and then you'll hear, if I turn this up, background noise. I just want to add some background noise. I'll find the one I want. There, siren. I just think it's just a great atmospheric sound. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch on the envelope so that you only hear it when there is input, right? It's just there in the background, it adds another dimension. I like that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is here on the group track, underneath speakers, I'm going to add Koala. So we go to audio units, and I guess we could type in Koala. There we are. Right, so I've added Koala on an audio track that's receiving audio input. Now when I press my key, I'm not hearing anything. I have to press this little headphones icon here to allow that signal in, and you can see the input level here. Let's just make it all big misses. I think that sounds really good, real phase on it as well. Okay, but it's just for a demo for now. It's just a thought that entered my little head. Alright, so now, here we have, if you haven't seen Koala before, I'm sure most of you have, but just in case you haven't, here we have 16 pads. And there's another 16, another 16, and another 16. And we can record samples or import samples onto all of these pads. I'm going to press on this one, and it's immediately going to start recording. So then I'm going to press a key. Let it fade out. Okay, and there you can see my sample. If I press on it, right, it's a bit loud. I can bring the volume down with this, look, and just watch the WAV. This is really, really nice. Just as you make changes to it, the graphic changes. I like that kind of thing. Right, and I can pan it around, which is not something I would do personally. You'll see why later. Right, we can alter the pitch of it. Let's just, which is very nice. Now let's go to edit, and you'll see here that it's already selected. It's kind of done the work for me. It's selected the sample. There's space here. If I go to tools, I can crop that down. So now, as soon as I press, I can, let's change it from a one-shot sample to, it's only going to play while I hold down the key. Right, now, I want to change the attack. Let's have a softer attack here. No, that's too much. Okay. And of course, we can alter the release as well. That's really nice. Now, there's lots and lots to this, and like I said at the start, I'm not going to go deep into Koala. I'm just going to show you how I would use it as something to import my samples into, to maybe do something like build a drum kit. Why and how I would use it instead of using Cubasis as mini sampler. Now it's got a sequence section, it's got a performance section. I'm not going to touch on that at all. We're just going to look at this page and the basics of what we can do here. I mean, if you want me to do a stream called Koala, going deep into Koala, no, I'm not going to play with that anymore. That could get a bit dodge, right? So, but you know what I'm saying, right? If you want me to do a further Koala video where we get more involved with it, then fine. Just comment below the video or throw it in the chat. Right, now we can also loop. I think we'll have a look at that a bit later when we do drums. I think that would be nice. We can change the tone here. Right, let's just make it a bit. Take care, Sam. Sleep well. Right, now we can also do some stretching, you know. Loads of fun. Magic stuff. Now I have to press on this tab here. I'll just show you. In tools, we've got we can normalize, crop. I did before. We can label the sample. I love to label things. I'm very tempted to do it right now, but I'm very conscious of time. We can trim silence. We've got auto chops, bounce. These are things that I would maybe look at if we went a bit deeper into it. But I want to show you this tab where we can adjust the EQ. So, in fact, actually, maybe what I should do is just go back here, put loop on, and hold. Then we'll go to EQ. Brighten it up around here, I think. Maybe just lose a bit of the lows. Right, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Right, now. Okay, So you can so you can see from that where we could go with this, what we can do as far as building synths and sounds and all kinds of stuff. But what I really want to show you in Koala is the folder system, because I think it's absolutely magic. So I'm going to just come out of here, and I'm going to just switch off Koala there. Oh, actually, yeah, no, I'll leave that there. Sorry, I'm thinking. Best way to do the next bit. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to go and add another Koala, but this time I'm going to add it as a MIDI track. And I'll go and choose my instrument, and I will add Koala. Alright, so this time we've added it to a MIDI track. Okay, so we've got 16 empty pads on this page, and I want to put some drums in them. The best way to import samples into Koala, if you go down here to the bottom right hand side, which you could very easily miss this, especially if you've added your own skin to it like I have, you press on samples and it opens up a folder system. Now here you can add your own folders of samples. If I go into this one here, you'll see that I've added the folder in my Dropbox account where I store all the samples for my patrons. And back here I've got a shortcut to the Cyber Metal drum kit. In fact, actually, let's just go here and we'll see the sample dump. This is where I put random samples for patrons. Cool grooves. In here there are samples, loops of drums, guitars, synths, all kinds of stuff going on. And here are the ones that are more cyber metal based. I'll click on that cyber metal one. In fact, actually, I should show you how easy it is to add a folder. If we add a location, we could just say, go into my Cool Grooves folder, Cool Grooves 3, drums, drum one shots, dry. And we could add that folder to here, no problem. Right? And there's my samples. But they're not the ones I want. I want these ones, and I'm going to add, oh, you can see here down the side, right? So here's the label that I added to the sample when I made the sample. If you've got this icon next to it, then it's been downloaded and it's ready to drop into the project. If you've got a little cloud, it's not downloaded. All you have to do is click on it and it will download. But I saved these samples as dry versions of the samples and then wet versions of the samples, because some people like, you know, the drums with the reverb and everything on. So the ones that are not a cloud, I can drag into the project straight away. So I will just find the kick. There we go. And drag that over there, or at least attempt to. What's going on there? Right, drag that over there. So now, ooh, we have a very loud kick. Let's turn that down. Okay. Up here we have a button so that we can drag multiple things. If I press that and then grab, let's say, the hi-hat, and where's the snare? There we go. So we can drag both of them at once. But I don't want that snare there. Let me just turn that hat down a bit. Right, I don't want that snare just there. I want it here. And all I have to do is drag it, move it. Select that one, delete it from there. Don't want that. Turn that snare down. Right, okay. Now, I know where I need these other instruments, so I'm just going to do that. I've got... Oh yeah, and you can press on them if you want to just audition them. Let's switch that off. Lower tom needs to be here. And where's mid tom? That needs to be just there. And high tom wants to be right here. Now then, where should open hat? I believe that wants to be just here. And crash. Oh yeah, I didn't mean to do that, but you can make it all bigger if you want with this little doodah to the side. Crash right at the top. There we go. And I think I'll put that there, maybe. Right, we'll come out of here and I'll just show you. You can also search your samples, download your samples, move your samples by pressing on cloud here and navigating your folders this way. You'll recognize this layout because it basically is your filing, your iOS filing system. Okay, so now I've got some drum samples in Koala. Just going to turn them all down a little bit. They're all a bit super loud. Okay. Now I'm going to come out of there for a moment. What I need is some drums. As this is a drum kit, make it red. I accidentally made that synth red. Okay. So I'm going to mute Blipbox. And I'm going to grab all the MIDI that I've got for Blipbox. Select all of it. And we'll paste it all together. And then copy. And paste it down here. So now, fingers crossed, that MIDI should play my samples in Koala. Now obviously, they're a bit loud and they're not panned and there's no effects on them, but I prefer those sounds than the sounds I had before. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how I like to use the way that I really like to work with drum sounds in a project. I want to use the multibus out feature of Koala, which is for me to spend money on a piece of drum software, it's really got to have multibus out. I'm going to go to here and press add 7 tracks. So now we've got 7 extra tracks. Let me just unarm the 2 synths, the hissing a bit. Okay, so now we've got 8 tracks of Koala. The first one, excuse me, the first one with the MIDI on it, let's just go back to there. Now, I've added the multibus outputs, but for the moment, all these drum samples will still be playing out of that main output. What we have to do is we have to tell each sample which output we want it to go out of. So the kick I'm going to leave on channel 1. So we'll start by showing you the snare. I click on the snare and I go to edit, and then it's not on this tab, it's on the other tab where the EQ is. You see there it says out 1. We'll change that to output 2, and then I will go to my hat, make that one output 3, and then we'll go with open hat there. We'll make that one output 4, and then high tom 5, mid tom 6, low tom 7, and crash on 8. Right, so now I've got 8 drum samples going to 8 different outputs. Well, all being well, I have. Let's go and have a look. Go to the mixer. There's my 8 outputs. Let's pan those toms. Okay, now let's mix these in a bit. Right, now I'm getting a bit of crackling. It sounds like Cubasis 3 is having a CPU problem. And this is a bit wild, really, because Cubasis 3 handles a massive amount of AUV3s without any problem whatsoever. However, I have noticed that on some multi-output bus AUV3s, there's an issue. Let's just have a look at the CPU here. Let's move it along a bit. I think it's alright whatever the graphics of Koala are not on the screen. What I would do is, if that persisted, I would go to setup and I would, wherever it is, I can't, it's so long since I've had to do it, I can't remember whereabouts it is. Multi-core processing, I would go and switch it off. Because multi-core processing, the vast majority of the time, just means that Cubasis 3 handles DSP fantastically. But there's something about multi-output bus stuff, and usually just switching that off sorts it out. But I think we'll be okay, because I'm nearly done for today. I've got my drums, I've shown you Koala, we've had a look at the mini sampler. I just need to set something up for these two synths here, so that I can play you out with the track. Now, I would like to do a bit more mixing and add some effects and make this sound a little bit more finished off, but I really need to end the stream in a moment, so let's just get this going on here. That MIDI out is going to MIDI channel 1, so that should play these two synths, I believe. Let's just solo here. Right, okay. So I just need to sort the volumes out for those. Okay, take solos off. Why am I doing that instead of moving the group? What a stupid hippie. Oh, I am moving the group. I thought I was moving that synth. Right, okay. I only need to move that one fader. Right. Okay, that'll work. Okay, right. So, you know what? What's really, really frustrating while I'm showing you some of this stuff is that there are so many tangents I could go off on, you know? There's so many things I could show you. Like in Koala, while I'm showing you the basics that I intended to show you today, I'm thinking, oh, I could show them this, and I could do that, and I could just add this to my project, and there's only so much you can do in one stream, and I think I've done enough for today. So thank you very, very much for being here. I hope I've answered some questions, and maybe what I've done is answered some questions and also given you some new ones. So if I have, just, you know, go and have a pissy pants around with Cubasis 3, have fun, make some music, and anything I can help you with whatsoever, you know where you can find me. You can always ask me, and I will answer wherever I can, and probably include your question in the stream and answer it that way. So until next time, thanks for being here. Have a fantastic rest of your week. There will be another Cubasis 3 stream next week. It will also be not at the proper time, because I have to rehearse again next Tuesday for the Tokyo gigs, and then that will be the final rehearsal as far as I know. So things will be back to normal the week after. I like to keep it to 8 o'clock UK time, Tuesday night stream every week. But next week will most likely, I think, be at this time again on the Wednesday. But I will obviously be spamming the whole internet to let you know when the stream will be. So, if you're a patron, I will see you for the Patreon secret music making stream on Friday. If not, I'll see you again next week for the Cubasis 3 workshop. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you later. It would have been cool if I'd started that in the right place, wouldn't it? So, let's try that again. Take care of yourselves. Try not to piss your pants about. I'll see you later.